Startup Unscripted. The questions you have with the truths you need to hear.
Help doctors get into practice the way they want to get into practice. Hashtag truth. That's why we put it out there. What we want to do is we want to bring truth to the startup game.
And now your host, Michael Dinsio.
All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Startup Unscripted. My name is Mike Dinsio, one of the owners over at Next Level Consultants. And today I have a raspy voice. You probably can't even recognize me, but I'm dealing with some crap and we're just going to work through it. But it's I don't know if that's the word, but it's exacerbated with being high intense microphone. So this is weird, Richard, but I'm going to introduce a friend and a new partnership to us. Today's all about phones. I know, phones, super exciting and sexy. And, but ironically, man, they're pretty important because you're doing a startup and you got to get phones set up and you got to get people to call them. And there's a little bit more than just, hey, let's set up a Google phone number. It's a little bit more important than that. So we're going to deep dive into phones. And today I'm interviewing a director of sales and business development over at Mango. You guys call yourselves Mango Communication. His name's Richard May. And we're going to break down all kinds of fun stuff with phones today. What's up, man? Thanks for joining us.
Hey, what's up, Michael? Like the raspy voice thing I think it's going around. I think everybody's got picked up something like from the holidays.
You got it? Did you have it? Did you have something?
I think everybody got something. I mean, it's just, it's the season, right?
It's weird. So weird.
It's just
I think it's a little extra. There's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there on how all this stuff's going on with the COVID and 3 years or 4 years ago, and we all don't have immunity. Dude, stay off those chats, people, because it's a dark place. Oh shoot.
I mean, it's fun to go down some rabbit holes, but dude, I just sell phones. Like I'm a simple man. Like we just sell phones. Yeah. It's not much more complicated than that. So
nothing crazy about that. No, I love it.
No.
Simplicity is bliss. But dude, give us kind of like a rundown. Like, let me set this up. Next Level just set up a partnership with you guys. So now we have better pricing, more advantages and benefits that you can get by being affiliated with Next Level. So our clients have this. We're even offering this to our podcast listeners. So folks, whether or not you are a client of Next Level, but you are a fan, a subscriber to this program, you do have this available. But if you just call Richard straight up and don't put Next Level in there or don't put in the startup podcast, you will not get that deal. That's a fact. So make sure if you do reach out, Richard May knows about the program that he offered us. But anyways, enough about all that, but there is a sweet deal there. Richard, tell us why did Next Level choose Mango as one of their preferred, if not the preferred, phone services?
I mean, why you decided to go, I guess, is just like your personal preference. You know, you just like us, after we talked a few times, right?
I actually don't like you guys, but I like the company.
I mean, the thing that we're trying to do, there's hundreds of phone providers in the country that you could use to manage your phone calls in the dental practice, right? But I don't think that there's hundreds of phone companies that are trying to actually help out dentists, that are actually trying to be a vendor in the phone space, like in the dental space, like what Mango is trying to do, right? So Mango has some origins of being kind of this this company that started out before it was a phone company. It was an ISP. We were an internet service provider, and the guy who invented it, just quick background, he did not like any of his phone partners in the VoIP space. He thought they were all like way too techy, way too complicated, way too difficult to work with, and they complicated the phone call. They complicated the phone system. And he was like, I feel like I can do this better than anyone else. Have you ever felt that way? Like, you know what? I think I do this better myself than like the people that are out there trying to tell me that I should do it this way.
That's how Next Level was born, brother. I mean, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. And so he built out his own phone system, Mango Voice. And he came up with the name Mango because he was like, why can't it just be simple? Why can't you just have a fun, easy, relaxed name instead of all these super technical, complicated, voice providers that are not fun or not exciting? Because I mean, let's face it, we're talking about phones. It's not, you don't go home excited about this all the time.
Yeah.
But to your point, you said earlier, you got to have them. You have to have phones. You need to have phones, and it's one of those products you take for granted, and everything is fine until you have a problem with your phones, and then you realize how much it is like just an artery that's pumping life to your practice when you have phone problems, right? It's one of those things where like, you don't think about it twice until it doesn't work, and then you realize how vital phones are to your actual practice, right?
Totally. Totally. Yeah. Especially for a startup, because let's be honest, like the startup's all about like the project and building it and banking and IT and the marketing, and you do all these things, credentialing, and you're trying to get people to call your phone. So it's pretty important. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then you invested this. I mean, you from my understanding is when a doctor decides he's going to build a startup, he's basically raising a new child, and he's basically giving his entire life to that baby, right?
Yeah.
And
100%.
And imagine doing all that work, like you said, the loans and the build out and the construction and getting the right colors and the right marketing, and you've done all this work, and then your phones don't work after you've done all of that. I mean, I can't think of a worse scenario, right?
I mean, that's not the value though, like, right? So getting a phone number to work, that's not really value. So let's get into some of that. Like you talked about the owner kind of under complicating the process. So what's that mean? And let's make this a little bit more tangible to the audience.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're a startup, first of all, you need a phone number, right? Like you can't run your business without a business number. And right now, like I would imagine most doctors that are thinking of starting up a practice don't even know what that means. Like, how do I go about getting a phone number? Where do I get it from?
Yeah.
Like, what number do I pick?
Yeah.
And does it cost money? Do I have to pay for it? I bet there's a lot of these questions that people haven't even considered, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they come to find out it does cost money. Maybe you don't get the number that you want. Can I even get a phone number in my same area code?
Mm-hmm.
What is it actually going to cost me? And so Mango, like, because we're the phone company, we've thought of all this, right? So let's say you're a startup, you want to move forward, so you build out your practice. We'll get you a phone number for free, so you don't have to pay for it, and that way you can start listing it for advertising purposes or for credentialing, right? Which I know that's a huge part. You help practices take care of, right? The credentialing piece, right?
Yes. Yes. And actually that's a good place to like not pause, but like stress. So when do you get the phone number? And the answer is as soon as you start considering credentialing. And we try to get our clients to start the process of credentialing right when they sign the lease, because that's when you have an address. You typically can get your website, domain, even though you don't have a website yet. You're getting all these things, and phone is a really big piece of that. So yeah, sign the lease, get a phone number, but who wants to pay for a phone when you're 5-6 months down the road of opening? Well, Mango gets you the phone number for free. That's awesome. So yeah.
Get you the phone number for free, and we'll activate your service for free. So we ran into this a lot, where a lot of practices they'll get all the way up to their opening date and they don't even have phones in the practice yet. And they have a number,
like physical phones.
The physical phones are not even in the practice yet. And they're like, oh, shoot, like, what do I do now? So imagine being able to just 5 months before you open, get that number for free so you can get your credentialing done. You can start advertising that number, and you can set up your call flow like prior to opening. So you can even send and receive calls. You can train your staff on new patient calls. You can start to get metrics on, is your business number operational? Is it working? You can familiarize yourself with Mango's product prior to actually, opening, because so many of these dentists, they open and then they're like, we don't know anything about our phones and how they work and how to check our voicemails, how to respond to text messages. And like, we're empowering dental practices and startups especially to check all those boxes prior to opening. So when you do open, you do have patients coming in, you're ready. I mean, you as a coach and as a consultant, I'm sure you go over this in so many other areas, but just one less thing you don't have to stress about is having your phones, your call tree, your entire phone setup in place and ready to go. And
I will add to that. Sorry, I don't want to break your groove here. There is so much that goes into a startup. So many timelines, so many things. Credentialing is kind of like that first painful point for the actual phone number. And the other thing is, you already mentioned it, was with all the marketing. So imagine you're a resident and you're driving to work, and 3 months before you open, the dentist, audience, have a banner sign and it says the best dentist in town opening soon, with no phone number yet. Or you could have a phone number, but again, if you put that phone number on it, you got to go have voicemail, and you got to be able to handle that. But still, the point is at some point, whether that's 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, you want to start taking those calls, because that's like free advertising. That banner sign, you're going to do Instagram, you're going to do websites, you're going to probably go to like some community events and stuff where you have a booth. So having a number to call to start booking your schedule before you even open is huge, and it's something that Next Level shoots for our clients. But anyway, sorry, again, how important to have a number and to not be charged for it until you open. That's cool.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand that, I'm not a dentist, but I understand that dentistry is a craft, right? I mean, these dentists are artists. I mean, they're medical professionals, but I doubt that a lot of this stuff is taught in in dental school, right?
No,
I doubt that any of this stuff is gone over. And so I know it's something they don't consider. And like, going back to like our core value of keeping it simple, we want to make this as simple for them as possible, like to eliminate just another thing of stress they don't have to worry about. So we try to take it a step further, and instead of just giving you the number for free and the service for free, like, we'll provide the actual physical phones for free when you sign up with Mango. And these are nice phones. These are like
physical,
the newest phones. We're talking actual physical phones,
actual hardware,
physical devices.
Yeah,
exactly. Right. Because despite where the world may or may not be going, 98% of our dental practices last year still bought physical phones. They still wanted physical phones. So you can talk about, we do have a web phone. We do have our mobile app, which you can use, which is great, which we can talk about that later. But at the end of the day, you want you want stations still in your office. You want places where you can, okay, what phone do we have? We need someone at their desk able to answer a physical phone.
Exactly.
It still makes the most sense to have a phone where you can see numbers, have your caller ID and everything there set up. And we provide those devices for free. And these devices cost $190 if you were to go on Amazon or somewhere else and try to buy them. And I know that one thing that physical, like, I know that startups are already concerned about cash and where they can allocate funds.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a startup and you need 3 to 5 phones, you're going to save $400
Right there.
just by going with Mango, just right there on the hardware.
I,
And this is
I,
this
go
is
ahead.
the best phones like on the market. This isn't some cheap thing that we're like giving people. This is as good as a VoIP phone product as you can get.
And I actually, I mean, such a, it's such a big value. You went right to the value there. The other, I did want to touch on this, that the app that you guys helped them set up to get the calls, is a huge piece, because again, I want you guys, the audience, and maybe you're in the middle of a startup, whatever. I want you to put yourself in the place of someone that's going through the construction process. You've got the studs up, you're getting the drywall, you're doing the plumbing, you're doing all the things. Really, you don't get computers and actual hardware, computers, cameras, music, phones, all the things, dental equipment installed until after the dust literally settles, drywall dust, right? And so essentially we are less than a month out from opening your doors for business, and you don't even have a computer yet, which means you don't have a phone. And so again, let's rewind. These guys are going to give you an app on your phone, your cell phone, to take calls before you're even open. That's huge. So can we talk about that? Like taking calls before the physical calls, get scheduled.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you bring up a really good point, because, I'm thinking, hey, sign up for Mango, you get your phone sent to you. Like, so we've tried to think of as much of this as possible. So like, let's say you're 5 months out and you sign up with Mango. Like, you don't need these physical phones yet, right? You got your number for free. You got your service for free. You're able to take calls, receive calls. Where do you take and receive those calls? There's 2 ways to do it. We give you a mobile app, and you can download the mobile app through the App Store, whether you have an Android or an iPhone. They work great, both of them. And it's.
You mean the Android's just as
service.
good? The Android's just as good as the Apple one? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I used to be. I say that as a joke.
I believe so.
I say that as a joke because my whole team, and if any of you are actually listening, as far as my team goes, they laugh because I was the only guy that was on Android, and they were all iPhone. And the day and we have a group chat, right? And the day I switched over to Apple, everybody's clouds turned blue. And they literally had like a party about it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, get over it yourselves. But like, it's a joke. So the app is just as good for both. Got it.
Yeah. I mean, I know that there's like this weird, like I'm an iPhone guy. Like if text messages are coming to me in green, I just wonder who I'm associating myself with, right? At this point.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
All jokes aside, right?
Yes.
Whether you have Android or an iPhone, you can download the app from the App Store, and this is your business number, separate from your personal number. You can send and receive text messages. You can see your voicemails. You can transcribe the voicemails. You can see all of these things inside of the mobile app, and you can start taking business calls and running your business from your phone now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
exactly.
we have team members at Mango that track this for you. So if you sign up with Mango and you have all this free stuff now, you tell us, when do you want your phones actually shipped? Because you said the build out's done, there's dust, you got to get in there and clean it up, and you got to get your computers in place and all the other equipment that you have.
Yeah.
You tell us when you want the physical phones shipped, and typically we recommend 2 weeks prior to your open date, we'll ship the phones to you. And we call them plug and play, meaning that you literally they're already provisioned. Like, you don't have to do a whole lot of hard setup here. You take an Ethernet cable, you plug it into the wall, and your phone is live, right?
Yes.
You're already ready to go. So we've taken all these extra steps that you might be like, well, this is intimidating, this technology, I don't know how this works. We're going to take care of that for you, right? So when we have people that track when you're ready to open, they'll ship the phones out to you. You plug them in, you're ready to go, and you can start running your business, right? So
so there is a portal online, like if you're not on the phone, like a cell phone, There's like a website, and you can see all of the phone calls. You can see all the missed calls. I've found that some of our clients really enjoy seeing missed calls. Can you listen to the call? You can listen to the call.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you can listen to who's converting, who's not. Someone asks how much is a crown. They answer it terribly. It's a training opportunity, but you have all of that accessible to you before you even open is the point here, right?
Yeah. So the online portal where you can go and that's your login, that's your source of truth on your phones, right? You can see if your faxes live there, your voicemails live there, your missed calls, your answered calls. You can do answer rates, so you can see how many calls you're missing on it. You can look at it on an hourly rate, at a daily rate, at a weekly, monthly rate. So you can see, hey, we need more staffing at 2:00 because that's when our highest call volume is. Or like, I can't have people taking lunches. I can't have people taking lunches at this time because that's when we're seeing the most traffic come through. So we can
I'm
give
going
you a
to
lot of
pivot off
feedback
of that.
on that.
I'm going to pivot on that. I love that point because we're big fans of third-party phone services. We do not want to hire lots of people as startups. We want to keep our wages extremely low, very low. and so we're always big fans of hiring people for, as few days as possible. But we just interviewed Reach. We have interviewed Golden Goose, which is another great company. So folks, check out those episodes about picking up phones. But you also, so that's cool, seeing the activity and then saying, oh, I really need Reach at these hours so we don't miss a call, or Golden Goose, or whatever. It's third-party calling services. But then let me ask you this, Richard, do you know if Golden Goose or Reach or a third-party company is picking up the phones, can you listen to them through Mango and their performance?
Yeah.
Do you know?
So as long as you're using Mango as like your phone provider, we set up what's called remote extensions for companies like Golden Goose, Reach, and some of those other third-party providers all the time. Yes. And they actually love working with Mango because of our response time and our easiness of use. So let's say you decide to go with someone like Reach or Golden Goose, and you have Mango, and their third-party employer is your office is in Chicago, but your Golden Goose employees in California. It won't matter. Like we'll set up that extension, and they'll answer the call, and the person calling, the patient, will have no idea that they're speaking to someone in another state, right?
I love that.
And
so, can you have multiple extensions? Let's get really dorky, because I usually have a third party phone service picking up calls on Saturdays and stuff, and then I usually have a direct mailer who also is listening in and tracking calls. And let's just say there's another company. I mean, how many extensions can you have off of your phones?
Yeah, just unlimited, right? So this is the beauty of VoIP and VoIP done right, which is what we've really tried to do well. Is you can set up as many extensions as you need. So, and you can set up call forwarding for these numbers. So if you want to forward these calls to your direct mailers that are listening on calls, or your coaches like yourself that needs to give feedback, right? And you want to listen to these calls. There's multiple ways. We have what's called the eavesdrop feature, where like you can listen to calls live while they're happening, and they don't hear you breathing on the backside, right? So if you want to be really, like just, coming through.
and then you're like, oh, by the way, someone's listening. Patient.
You remember when you were younger, like at home, and like I had siblings, so when I was calling my friends, and I'd be like,
your girlfriend,
your girlfriend, you hear like some,
to be honest.
Your girlfriend
at 2 a.m. At 2 a.m. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone remembers this, right? Like I remember asking a girl to prom, and I had to call her up on the phone, and I remember
and
just
all your buddies
terrified.
Came over to listen.
Well, my brothers, I had brothers that were all there. They're all around. So they're just giving me the hardest time ever.
Yeah.
And you remember, it's funny because of course, like I don't have a direct way to reach her, so her dad answers, right? Because
Yeah.
and he's like,
Exactly.
I'm like, excuse me, sir, I'd like to talk to your daughter. Well, what about? You know?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what? Yeah.
It's different. It's different now, right?
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
you don't have to have people on the other line listening to your calls, right? This isn't like a landline system where you have rollover lines or you have all this is VoIP. What you can do with this is actually really cool. I mean, I know like people don't get overly excited about phones when we talk about them, but when you get down into like how in depth do you actually want to analyze your practice and what's happening inside of your practice, Mango can help you out in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
We can get the call recordings. You can listen to live calls. You can send those calls to your coaches, consultants, third-party answering services, direct mailers, and give you all that feedback and data that you could possibly, all the feedback and data you could possibly manage that you would want to see. We'll provide that for you guys.
That's I can't, like, I'm gonna tell the audience right now. Right now, 90% of you won't do this, even though I want you to do this. I do have 10% of you clients, and I interviewed one of them a few weeks ago, Miss Chloe Myrick. She was on an episode with me, and I interviewed her. She just finished startup. She's crushing guys, by the way. She would be listening to every call because she cares and she tracks and she wants data and she's driven by the data. And so that all matters. And so like, it's these little things that I can't I don't know what I'm trying to say, communicate how important it is, because also guys, why listen to calls? Think about the thousands of dollars you've spent, time and money, on the marketing campaigns that you're putting together. And don't you want to track where all of these calls are coming from? And by the way, don't just use, sorry, Richard, I'm going to go on a tangent here, but don't just use new patient forms. You send somebody a new patient form, they say Google. Google is not the answer. We're actually laughing about that offline, Richard, between you and me. So like when you give somebody a new patient form and they write Google, you don't just take Google and put it in the PMS, the practice management software. That's not the answer. You ask the patient, hey, you said Google, tell me a little bit more about that. And they're like, oh, I saw a postcard and then I Googled you. Oh, so it's the postcard. Like, on these calls, you can pick stuff up like that so that you have better data, which drives your marketing strategy, which drives your ROI, which drives everything. So just as little as being able to listen to calls, tracking it, listening to it is huge. So awesome. Sorry, I'm done.
No, I think you bring up a really good point, which reminds me of like I believe in this philosophy of keeping the main thing, and all the other things will take care of themselves if you keep the main thing. And when it comes to the phones, the main things are you got to have good call quality. It's got to be functional. Yes. It has to, with VoIP, it has to be up, right? We refer to what's called uptime. And one thing that's different from us than most of these phone companies that are out there don't have a public status page where they'll display their uptime, because they go down all the time and they don't want people to see that. So they're not transparent. Mango has a public status page. It's status.mangovoice.com. You can go to that page anytime and you can see our live uptime. And if we ever had outages or if we ever had downtime, and we'll own our mistakes, right? But you'll see like we're up 99.9% of the time. Like,
wow. What's the average? What's the industry average?
Okay, you're talking closer to 70% is the average.
What?
Because
is that VoIP in general?
That's VoIP, like, and the reason for that is because most people are not monitoring their data centers. They're not monitoring their servers. Mango has put a ton. Like I can personally vouch because I'm on the sales side. Mango has put their dollars in the product and customer support side first.
So you're underpaid, Richard. Is that what you're saying? You're underpaid salesperson.
Absolutely. So this is my opportunity for my boss to hear that I know where the dollars are going and they're not coming my way. right?
Yeah. Well, you're not as valuable if you're at a 99%. It sells itself, man. Sorry.
It sells itself. I just get, well, I will say, from a sales perspective, it is nice to be able to say that and not feel like
Yeah.
I'm lying to you or I'm trying to cheat
Heck
you, because
yeah. And so
I'm not trying to con you.
I love this conversation about downtime, because I think we should educate the audience on the definition of VoIP, because you hear that a lot. I actually don't even know what it stands for, and I think I'm spelling it right on the screen.
Right,
Perfect.
you nailed it. So it's
And
voice. Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
I'll add to this that actually go ahead, and then I got to follow up. So what's this? What's this mean, VoIP?
Voice over internet protocol. Voice over internet. Over internet protocol. That's what
okay.
it stands for.
So the voice is over the internet, which is kind of my second question here is, don't you kind of have to have really good internet to have VoIP? Because if you don't talk to your IT specialist about having solid and stable internet, this could be a concern. No?
Yeah, this is a concern, and the bigger concern is not so much of like your speed of internet or your bandwidth, like how much, like it's more about your consistency, right? Mango doesn't actually require that much bandwidth, so if you have a whole bunch of things running off of your internet, Mango's not going to be the problem, right?
Got it.
What it does become complicated if your uptime is, if your consistency looks like this, right?
Okay.
The workaround for that is the mobile app, though, which is the beauty of it, right? So if your internet goes down, which internet goes down, whether it's a construction thing or there's a network problem or all the different reasons that internet can just be spotty.
Yeah.
You're as long as you have mobile apps downloaded on your phone, it just runs off of your cellular data.
Oh,
so
that's
you
true.
can still send. And it does not affect what you're seeing on the back end on your reporting, right? Because your phone system is in the cloud, right? So your cloud-based phone system, right? So you're still seeing all your metrics, all your analytics, all your call recordings, whether your internet's good or not.
So someone cut your internet, cut your power. I don't know why you would still be taking calls, but technically your cell phone now is your backup, is what you're saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your cell phone's kind of your backup, and we have, and we've done as much redundancy like as we possibly can. So even if, like, let's say the mobile app is not working, let's say Mango's having problems that day, we can set up call forwarding and forward the calls to your cell phone, right? So it's even, so we have that third step just in case, if there is that. Tried to think of everything that we could think
guys
of.
This is why, right? This is why Google phone numbers or whatever just might not be the trick. So this is great. So let's get into the extra value add. I can't believe we're 33 minutes into a conversation about phones. Sorry, guys, we're actually having a longer conversation about phones, but I feel like there's definitely some value add things that we probably should splash in here other than just free phone number, free app, free dashboard, free physical phones, for God's sakes. And then if you hit the link in the description, you're actually going to get a better monthly deal that Next Level has negotiated. So that's the side deal. But can we talk really quick about, and I mean real quick because the episodes are usually 40 minutes. Can we talk about like extra services, like the add-ons? Isn't there other stuff, texting? I don't know. Walk us through everything else that we are missing.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, I'm shocked too that we could talk about phones and have like for 40 minutes, right?
Yeah.
But like, most
hopefully it's been entertaining. I hope.
Hopefully, I hope so too. I've had fun. At the end of the day, as long as you and me have fun, right?
Yeah, I guess so. That's true. Yeah.
Most of your phone providers are going to sell you just a phone that can make calls and receive calls, and all these additional features, they'll upsell you on them later. Because we hear it all the time. We're like, my bill is this much. And it's like, yeah, for now. But if you want the call recordings, your voicemails, call forwarding, auto attendance, music on hold, eFax. They're gonna nickel and dime you, and you're gonna end up almost paying triple for what you pay for just Mango, which is all these features bundled into one price, right? So yes, there's, if you need two-way texting, you might be using an integration partner, which we didn't even get into that yet. We integrate with, 90% of the dental softwares that are out there. So if you need texting through us, we have that. If you are needing an auto attendant, which is press 1 if you're a new patient, press 2 if you're an existing patient, we'll set that up for you. We'll even do the recording for you if you want. We'll provide the music on hold, which you can upload anything you want. It can be music, it could be a commercial or an advertisement, like a refer a friend kind of thing to have playing on the background.
Could be Startup Unscripted's theme song, right? When we start, could be.
Yeah, which was pretty epic, I thought. It's pretty epic.
Could be.
The openings, yeah, you could do that. As long as you release the rights, I guess, and you allow people to have that, and there's so much more to it, right? It's like you said, access to all those dashboards, all those analytics. I mean, that's all included in that price as well.
Okay.
I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, go ahead.
The integration part, I think, is kind of huge, because a lot of our clients go with the pretty standard software companies. I need to get some software companies on the program and just have this conversation, because it's definitely it's a topic. It's definitely a topic, but you're integrating with all of these different softwares, which is great. And when you mean integration, what's that even mean? What's integrating? Like, what's integrating that they called?
Yeah.
Or
yeah, no, great question. It's like, it's a buzzword, integration, right? Like, but what does that actually mean? It means that instead of just having like a caller ID, which we do have, which is included, which is great. So now if you are using a software we integrate with, you're going to get what's called a screen pop or a patient pop, which it's pulling. So let's say I call your practice, Michael, and my name pops up. Richard May is calling.
Yep.
It's going to provide my date of birth, my insurance, my last appointment, my next appointment, if I have family members, if I have a balance that's due, so that if you have an office manager or a front office staff who answers that call, they know all that information before they've even picked up the phone.
Love that. And by the way, your software needs to be correct, because data in, crap in, crap out, folks. Crap in, crap out. We're talking about startups. And when you start, crap in, crap out, do it right. I would say a lot of our back end coaching at Next Level is all about setting up your systems correctly. Everybody forgets that part. So then you set it up, you don't put your fee schedules, you're not attaching things, your balance due's wrong. It's just then you call consultant 5 years into your business and it's an absolute S show, and it's because you didn't set it up right. But this sorry, I'm getting into stuff that is so cool that you can see, oh, I got to take this call. This person owes me money. Oh, I got to pick this call up because whatever. That's great. That's cool. Okay. Right on. Text messaging. A lot of people are paying for texting. You guys, you can facilitate the texting through Mango.
Yep.
So we don't have to pay for some communication software of some sort that's handling patient texting.
Yep. So we can do the texting, right? But if let's say like you're using one of our integration partners, you love texting with like a Dental Intelligence or a Flex or Practice by Numbers, or you go to our website and you can see all of our integration partners we have. Let's say you love that platform already and you don't want to switch the texting out of that.
Yeah.
What Mango does on the integration side is we send the text messages through the business number. So I'm sure, Michael, you've gotten probably, because I have too, we've all gotten hundreds of text messages from some random number that says, here's this promotion, or it's a 5-digit code text message. And you're like, this is spam, right? Like, this isn't really for me, or they got the wrong number, right? And you have to write out this long description saying, actually, this is Dr. So-and-so, and we're texting to see if you want to come in for your cleaning or an appointment reminder. And while it's sufficient, we found that there's almost a 92% more acceptance rate when the texting comes from the main office number, because it's a
No,
number. It's a number
that's
they can. It's a number they
yeah.
can verify. They can look it up. They go, oh, that's my that is my dentist. They can save the number in their phone, and
Okay.
if they see that coming from, they're 92% more likely to accept
Guys,
a recall.
imagine,
Or
let me help you imagine, because these are startups. They don't understand, right, what's happening and why that matters. So imagine sending somebody their bill to pay a bill, outstanding bill, and you're sending that via text, which is the new way. Do you think you have a better chance of collecting that money if it's through your company versus a rando? Obviously, he just said 92%. Imagine sending a Google review text. Hey, hope you had a great time with us today. Would love a 5-star review. Are they going to do it? Or are they going to say, what is this 1-800 number? So that matters, man. Google reviews, payments, filling out forms, online forms before your appointment, post-op instructions. The list goes on and why you might want to text your clients. And so that's huge, Richard. That's cool. Dude, I feel like I could talk to you for an hour on phones. What's happening right now?
It's weird. It's one of those things where like it's a product you take for granted until it doesn't work. And then all of a sudden you're like, dang, like our phones are down. Like we hate our phone company, right?
Yeah.
When
all right,
it worked.
Last thing. IT professionals love to refer phone companies. I don't know what the story is, why that is. They end up going to like Xfinity or some weird service of some sort. I don't know what that's all about. Even dental IT companies, some don't get it. So can we talk about like pitfalls real quick, less than 2 minutes, pitfalls of some of these really bad services that maybe your IT professional is trying to get you to go down that path? Can we just talk about like, gotcha, like opportunities real quick? Yeah.
I love IT guys, the IT guys that I trust, because they get it, because phones are hard. There's a reason that like the biggest phone companies in the world are only doing phones. They stay in their lane. They're not trying to be everything to everyone, and Mango's not trying to be everything to everyone either. That's why we partner with people. I'm not the expert that you are on all the facets of building out a startup, right? But I know everything about phones, right? So let me be your phone guy, you be their coach, let someone else be their patient engagement software, right? Do what you do well and stay in your lane. And that's Mango's kind of philosophy. Some IT guys run into this problem of dollars for deals, right? And these phone companies are backed by major corporations. They have a lot of money to spend, and so they don't care if it works well or if it's easy to use or if it's going to be a good experience for you, or if it's integrated, or if you're getting a good deal. They know that they're getting paid a really high revenue share if they push this phone on you.
Oh,
right?
I see where you're going with this. Okay.
So a lot of times you're not getting the best phone service because maybe your IT guy is not referring like a Mango or like a phone company that's actually invested in dentistry like Mango is.
Yep.
You're just getting some random one-off that has a ton of money backing it, and your IT guy is getting paid a ton of money up front to keep you on this service, and it may not be in your best interest, right?
Yes,
and,
exactly.
And there's some bad actors out there, right? That maybe they are good IT guys, but they're like, oh, I can make 5x what I would make if I refer this versus what I refer like a Mango, right?
Yeah.
And
okay. So there's that. You're probably going to pay for the hardware. You're not going to have a lot of these benefits that Richard just talked about, but essentially the IT people are getting persuaded by maybe rev share programs and whatnot. But okay.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay. Well, that's cool. So really just dig in. So Richard, I think we could talk for an hour. Just for the sake of the average person driving to work. It's a 35-minute commute. We're 10 minutes over. Let's shut this thing down and leave a little bit of some question marks to the audience. How we're going to put in the descriptions, like always, folks, how to get a hold of Mango and Richard. to essentially set up a call. Make sure that you specifically say, startup unscripted, Mike Dinsio, next level, just some kind of buzzword so that you're getting the same monthly deal when they do go. I mean, not everything's free. We did say that a lot of stuff's free today. The service isn't free. But when you do get charged, you're getting the right rates and stuff. But yeah, just big picture, reach out, click that link, and you guys will set up a call. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the link that's in there, just there's a spot that says referred by. You just need to say one of those buzzwords, like you said, startup unscripted, next level, Michael Dinsio, podcast with Richard and Mike, like something like that.
Yeah.
And I'll apply, the next level startup pricing to your guys's.
And my favorite
bill.
thing is that it ramps up. That's my favorite thing about the startup. Our program is that we have negotiated a ramp up essentially.
Yeah, I mean, the way we look at it is like, look, there's the price for the product, right? I mean, if it was too cheap, I would be worried, right? You're getting what you pay for. Like good dental work, good dentistry is not cheap, right?
Yeah.
And if it was, most doctors would say I'd be wary of that product, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what we're doing is we're saying, hey, in your first year, you're going to pay this rate. And in your second year, we're going to bump you up here, which is still discounted. And by year 3, we're going to have you on our normal pricing, because if you do things right, if they do what you tell them to, Michael, I'd imagine by year 3, they're going to be profitable enough to afford their phone bill, which is very, very competitive pricing that we offer in the market.
Yeah. So that's a huge game changer. And that's something that we worked on together with Richard and Mango. And so we appreciate the deal and passing that off to my listeners and clients. So I guess with that being said, any last comments, concerns, questions? But I really appreciated you being on the call today, and just really making phones a little bit more interesting than probably what they are on the surface. So I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Anytime. Thanks, Michael, for having me. And again, I'm easy to get a hold of too. So if you fill out that link, or I'll even just put my email, Rich, RICH, @mangovoice.com. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Happy to help.
Love it. I hope they blow you up, buddy. All right, man. Until next time, and everybody else, thanks for joining. Thanks for dealing with my voice today. Maybe I sound better radio voice. Maybe I need to get sick more often, but I enjoyed it, guys, and stay tuned for more episodes. We got some cool stuff coming down the pipe. So we will talk to you soon. Thanks, Rich. Talk to you soon.
Bye, Mike.